When I was growing up, my first ever gaming console was one of those like joysticks that you plugged into the back of the TV, and it had about 50 games on it, which were basically Mario rip-offs and the odd baseball game. Don't get me wrong, I was incredibly good at those baseball games. I was really hoping for a Nintendo DS. So of course my 11th birthday came along and I got that pink brick of a DS and I played it till the screen calibration gave way. And so started a long, loving relationship with Nintendo consoles. One thing I will be grateful for is that the Nintendo 3DSs still allow you to play DS games so that you can go back and visit those nostalgic games that you grew up loving. And so these are the 5 games that influenced my gaming style growing up. Nintendogs was a game changer growing up. I didn't have a pet until I turned about 12, and so being able to look after and care for a dog, which on a console you could take anywhere with you, was mind-blowing. Taking them on walks, giving presents to them, it was the cutest game, and I still have Nintendogs and Cats on the 3DS, which I occasionally go back to, but I don't think it holds as high a place in my heart as Nintendogs once did. However, Nintendogs by itself as one game wasn't enough to fulfill my time, and so I begged my nan when we went out and about to buy me Animal Crossing Wild World. Wild World was my first look into the Animal Crossing universe, and my god, Considering I moved around quite a lot as a child, I lost quite a few of my DS games in various moves, or even giving them away to my younger brother. But Animal Crossing is one that I never got rid of. I still boot it up to this day just to hear the nostalgic music. I was infatuated with the fact that you came into this little town, it was almost idyllic at the time, you know, there was grass everywhere, there were trees everywhere, and your neighbours were animals. Animal Crossing was definitely one of those games that I hid under the duvet covers when I was meant to be asleep, making sure that my light could not be seen, and closing the DS very quickly as soon as my parents came to check that I was actually asleep. And of course it's had a big influence on the games that I like now. I mean, one of my favourite games on Nintendo Switch is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Animal Crossing even then was a safe place that you could just visit when you wanted to escape reality, and obviously back then I had a lot less responsibilities like school, but looking back at that time I thought that was the biggest responsibility in the world, and I still wanted to escape from it. However, I would definitely say Animal Crossing then, in comparison to now, the villagers seem to have a lot more to say to you, and the grumpy villagers, the cranky villagers, were ruthless. I would always be a bit upset and a bit scared when I had a grumpy villager move in. I was also terrified of Rossetti, but what kid wasn't? Another game that had an absolute chokehold on me was The Sims 2 DS, and if anyone else had this game, it was a fever dream. Around the time that I got The Sims 2 DS, it was when I was very much into my Sims 2 phase on my parents' PC. I loved The Sims 2, so when my parents saw The Sims 2 DS, they thought, oh, it's the same game, but on her DS. She doesn't need to borrow our computer as much anymore. Boy, were they wrong. For those of you who are not aware of The Sims 2 DS, let me explain it to you. You basically arrive in a small little town called Strange Town. So you think, hey, we're on the same wavelength here. Let's do it. Let's build some houses, make some families. No. You turn up to Strange Town, your car's bust, so you have to go and check in at the hotel. And then you end up doing errands at the hotel and having to run the place basically because everyone's useless. The aim of the game is to make the hotel a better place, and you end up getting involved in the mafia somehow. There are aliens, you can tip cows over. You basically can't leave this weird little town. But it did come with some absolute rages of some songs on there, and you could go into the casino and stuff like that, and yeah. Though I think if anyone could ask me what game I'd love to experience for the first time again, I think The Sims 2 DS would fall into this category. just to see and experience how bizarre it is again.
Hello, it's Editing Sarah here. I went back to visit the soundtrack and it brought back even more memories. So you could play little mini games and you had to calm people down when they were getting into angry situations. This game was wild. Carrying on.
Back onto the cute and cozy games now. Another game that absolutely influenced my gaming style was Harvest Moon DS. Harvest Moon DS was my first look into a farming simulator, and it's probably where my love of Stardew Valley has come from as well. You live on a farm, you tend to your animals, and because of the fight that the Witch Princess and the Harvest Goddess have at the start, you then have to go around and try and find the harvest sprites that have gone missing. The gameplay is so cute, I loved the style of it, and I'm so excited that Story of Seasons have come back with these games that, you know, are remade into a different style now, but with the same story. Again, another game I refuse to let go of and refuse to let get lost in various different moves. The cool thing about this game was at the time where you could put the Game Boy games into the Nintendo DS as well, they also had Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town out, and you could connect the two games together. Also, my all-time favourite bachelorette from that game was Celia, and also the Witch Princess, but she was obviously a lot harder to try. And is woo the right word in this situation for a children's game? So yeah, turns out that my love of farming simulators started from a pretty young age anyway. And of course, number 5, my list would not be complete without at least one Pokemon game. Pokemon Diamond was one of my favourite Pokemon games of all time, and as a Pokemon obsessed child growing up, I was always besotted by this game. Basically, the minute I had my hand on a console that could play a Pokemon game, I was all over it. Granted, I still could not tell you Pokemon types and weaknesses and strengths now. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were the first installments of the 4th generation of Pokemon, and I was so excited just to see what was around at the time. The retro style of the game was so cute, it was exactly the game that I'd been hoping for. Even today, I still really enjoyed Arceus and Violet, and I definitely think this game helped embrace my love for Pokemon as I grew up. And those are my 5 games that definitely influenced the gaming style I have today. I would love to hear about the games that you enjoyed growing up too. And if you want to leave a comment, let me know. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. Take care.